A couple of things. Number one, the opening song of Vinland Saga Season 2 is really growing on me. Now, I liked it during the first episode and when I first heard it, but the more that I'm hearing it and the more that I just feel the tone and vibe of this season, I just feel like it is so fitting. I don't think it's as good as the openings from Season 1, but I think it's extremely fitting for the storyline that we're getting right now. And I don't know, man, it's a vibe. I don't know, maybe it's just won me over. I don't know what it is, but I'm digging it, man. Now, I love this episode, and I have been waiting for this scene because I remember when I read this scene in the manga specifically, it had such a huge tension building feeling to it, and also just seeing Thorfinn being in this position of just extreme defeat and depression and just does not give a shit what happens to his oh man, maybe I swore too early. YouTube's like demonetizing everything. I'm not gonna cut it out. Fuck. But I was waiting for this episode because of this scene and because of how it made me feel when I first read the manga, and also, of course, the introduction to Snake. This episode is entitled Snake, so we were going to get the introduction of this character. Unfortunately, we don't really get to see a whole lot of him. We see him introduced where he wakes up and kind of bickers with the old man a little bit, and then shows up at the end of the episode. So we don't get the moment between him and Thorfinn in this episode, but we will in the next one. And I'm going to try not to spoil upcoming things in the manga, really, because I want to keep these videos enjoyable for people that also like anime-only stuff and are only experiencing Vinland Saga that way. But just so you guys know, I also do review the manga, so if you catch up or get to the current chapters, I do review those as well. But sticking straight to the anime, this episode, let's get into it. So we are picking up where the last episode left off, where we have the two drunk Fox and Badger, I believe their names are. And these guys, they kind of, we get an idea more of what they do and what they're here for. They're essentially bodyguards of the farm. Now, a farm this big and the amount of land that Keitel owns, I mean, you wouldn't want people coming onto your territory, taking things, stealing things, or people profiting off your products or the fruit of your labor or anything like that, or anybody dangerous that might potentially walk onto the farm. So a farm this big needs bodyguards, and that's what this team of people is. And these two characters are a little bit on the shadier side, and of course they recognize that it's kind of boring here. Nothing really bad has happened, so they spend their time kind of like dicking around, getting drunk, doing whatever. You know, people are sparring in this one little section. It doesn't actually look that bad. I mean, it's kind of a job. I mean, I guess maybe if you have security, if you've been a security guard somewhere, there are some jobs where if you're a security guard, you literally just like sit and watch TV for 8 hours a night. So, I mean, these jobs still exist to this day, but that's essentially what they are. And they're seeing the young master here, and he, you know, wants to, basically, he has this, I don't want to say it's quite an insecurity complex. I think it's just a sense of like he hasn't found himself and he doesn't know what to do with himself. And he believes that the only way that he can gain respect and feel like he's not being made fun of by other people and being looked up to is to be a warrior of some sort, or to use his sword, or to have some kind of merit with it. But at the end of the day, he's never experiencing anything like that. He's lived a life of luxury, of privilege. You know, he's from a rich family, owns a farm. You know, he hasn't really experienced any struggle or turmoil or anything to kind of overcome. And so he's got that kind of like trust fund kid mentality where he just believes that he should be superior, but he hasn't worked for it. He hasn't worked for anything to be superior. And his father's trying to guide him on the right path, but of course he doesn't want to listen to him because he's a teenager. Makes sense. And so he gets tangled up with these bodyguards, and then they think that the thing that will maybe give you some confidence, especially with the sword, is if you actually did kill somebody. It's a rite of passage, you know? Once you see how fragile the human body is, you won't be as scared, you won't be as intimidated. And that's the logic they give him. And, you know, when trying to decide, he's not in a war, he's not part of a mercenary band, so who is he going to kill? Well, they mention you have a farm full of slaves, and slaves are your property. You can kill them, and nothing bad will happen. And that's where we begin the premise. We're also getting teased with the ongoing story element that Thorfinn is having nightmares, very viciously so, that are kind of tearing him up inside, just of everything from his past and whatever, you know, traumas that he's gone through. And we also get a proper introduction to Arnheid. She introduces herself. She says that she is also a slave. She's kind of like the head maid of Keitel. You know, she gives Einar a nice little compliment, perks him up for the day, which I, you know, appreciated. Every once in a while, you know, listen, guys don't get complimented that often, probably especially if they're slaves, but I'm just saying, One nice compliment from a beautiful woman can literally make our month. Just throwing that out there, ladies. Just remember that. But of course, the happiness doesn't last long because Einar and Thorfinn are taken by Snake and Badger, or taken by Fox and Badger, to be brought for Olmar, the young master, to kill. And they essentially said, well, here you go. Here's your slaves. Go ahead and kill them. And Einar, of course, is like, what the fuck? Because for Einar, he's here with the knowledge that if he works hard enough, and once they kind of cut down all the trees and plant all the crops and do what they're supposed to do, he's eventually going to gain his freedom. He's a little bit more in a positive mentality because he doesn't believe that he's going to be here for the rest of his life. He doesn't believe that he's going to die a slave. He believes that if he puts in the work, that eventually he'll get out of it. And now all of a sudden he's thrown in the situation where they're saying, yeah, we're just going to kill you for literally no reason whatsoever. The only reason is because you're property and you belong to us. And obviously Einar freaks out about this because this is not what he had been promised, right? And I love the juxtaposition between him and Thorfinn is because Einar has hope for the future and Thorfinn has given up on everything. Thorfinn does not care. He does not give a shit about his own life. And if he's like, all right, you're going to kill me, whatever. And Thorfinn is the one that has the training. Thorfinn is the one that can fight. Einar grew up on a farm. Einar is naturally strong, but he's not a fighter. But Einar is the one who decides to fight for his life. And I think that that's part of the idea that's going on here is that Einar has hope, has promise that something good can still happen in life. Where Thorfinn straight out says in this episode, every moment that I've been alive, nothing good has happened. And taken on its own, that can be like an edgy little quote that you could put as your Twitter status. But if you think about it more deeper, you can understand that makes perfect sense for somebody within his situation, and it makes perfect sense that Thorfinn wouldn't see that there is any value in life whatsoever because he's seen life be taken away so many times for virtually no reason, just like this situation here. And also, everything he's tried to do, everything he's tried to accomplish has been ripped away from him. He basically lived like a horrible robotic-style life for 10 years, hoping to do one thing, didn't do it, and then got thrown into slavery, far away from his family, no hope, no resources, no friends. Like, it's just, there's no, there's just no hope for Thorfinn right now. He just doesn't care, and that's why he goes through the motions and is doing what he's doing. And I think if you haven't read the manga, or if you're experiencing this for the first time and you're wondering why Thorfinn is so different from season 1 Thorfinn, is because what's the point? What's the point in trying anymore? And even though maybe we cannot relate with what it's like to be a mercenary in a group of Vikings, we can relate to maybe the feeling of feeling hopeless, of feeling like there is no point, of failing at everything you tried to do, of losing people and just wondering like why. Like, go ahead and kill me. Like, don't kill Einar. We got a lot of work to do. It's going to put the farm behind. Just let him do his thing. Just kill me. Just kill me. And he's not doing it in a self-sacrificial way. He's doing it because he's trying to get this over with. Like, all right, they want to kill somebody. All right, just kill me because there's work to do, whatever. It's just he's done. And so, Fox comes over to him, starts slicing him up, and Thorfinn has no reaction whatsoever. Of course, part of this is because he has been through combat, so he knows what it's like to get cut with a sword. But it is also, he's just waiting for that killing strike. He's just waiting for the moment to happen. And it's a tragic moment, man. Like, I remember reading this in the manga for the first time and just feeling like so bummed out for Thorfinn. And I think the anime did a really good job at adapting it. But then it gets interrupted by Snake, and Snake is legit. He's obviously feared and respected by all of these men. They all shut up for him when he shows up. He is a cut above the rest. He doesn't seem as bloodthirsty as the rest of the characters. He doesn't seem concerned about what they're doing. He shows up and they're like, oh, what are these guys up to? This is weird. And then he sees how Thorfinn is reacting and he's just like curious. Like, I have to get in there. I gotta just see something real quick. So he notices something because of his experience and because of who he is. He notices something in Thorfinn. Even Thorfinn that's, malnourished, weaker, hasn't been in combat for years at this point, he still notices there's something about this slave that's a little bit different than the rest. So he shows up, and we don't get the next moment, unfortunately, but I'm very, very excited for it. So the next episode will probably give us a lot more of Snake. Also, this isn't a spoiler, but I think we are very, very close to showing what Canute is up to. That's not a spoiler. Canute's in the opening credits. Canute's a main character. He's going to be in the series. But I think if I remember correctly, I think we're very, very close to seeing what Canute is up to. And I can't wait for that, because that whole segment of this storyline and this arc is also amazing. So excited for that. Really love this episode. I thought they did the tone of the scene very well, and the characters very well. And man, I don't know, man. I just season 2 of Vinland Saga is just getting me through the winter, man. It's January. We had another snowfall last night. I hate being cold. I hate January. But Vinland Saga is getting me through it, man. So if you saw the episode, what did you think of Vinland Saga Season 2, Episode 3, Snake? Let me know all your thoughts, theories, opinions down below in the comments, and I will see you guys in Episode 4.